Man, finding perfect games, true 10 out of 10s, can feel like looking for a needle in a haystack. A 100% perfect game is almost impossible to exist, but some manage to come pretty close. The truth is, you don't want to waste your time or money on titles that promise a lot but deliver very little. So I'm here to make your life easier. I spent a lot of time playing everything I could, sacrificing my social life to come up with this list of 20 games for you to play right now. 1. Shadow of the Colossus. Alright, let's start with a game that earns its perfect 10 out of 10 purely for artistic vision and emotional impact. Shadow of the Colossus, if you haven't played this, you're missing an essential piece of gaming history. The core experience is intentionally minimalist. Find a massive creature, a colossus, figure out how to climb it, and defeat it. Every single colossus is a brilliant, living environmental puzzle. That sense of scale and the weight of your actions are unforgettable. The storytelling is profound because it's driven by the protagonist's desperate, ambiguous quest. My only critique? The camera system could be a little frustrating, especially when you're clinging to fur in a high wind section, but that struggle actually contributes to the sense of vulnerability. I personally remember the stunning quietness of the massive, empty world, interrupted only by the epic soundtrack during a battle. Shadow of the Colossus is perfect because it delivers a singular, emotional, and mechanically unique adventure that you will never forget. Next up, let's talk about a game that is a flawless investment in survival horror and high-stakes action, Resident Evil 4 Remake. This title took a legendary game and rebuilt it to modern perfection, earning a perfect score. The core value is the relentless action-horror blend. The gameplay loop is intense, tight third-person shooting mixed with punishing resource management and the incredibly satisfying parry mechanic with the knife. Mastering that parry is essential for survival. The atmosphere is thick, rendering the Spanish village and castle with incredible visual fidelity and sound design. What I honestly loved was how the new design made the enemies feel more aggressive and tactical than the original. It truly keeps you on your toes. My biggest issue, the difficulty spikes on some of the side encounters felt slightly unfair, but that's RE for you. I spent hours perfecting the opening village sequence. RE4 Remake is perfect because it delivers an unmatched blend of classic horror tension and modern skill-based action. Number 3. Nier Automata. Alright, we're moving to a title that earns its perfect 10/10 for narrative philosophy and mechanical genius, Nier Automata. This game is an investment in storytelling that transcends the medium. The core value is the multi-layered narrative structure. You have to play through the game multiple times as 2B, 9S, and A2 to get the complete picture, and each route fundamentally changes your understanding of the story and the gameplay perspective. That narrative commitment is absurdly high. The combat system is sheer brilliance, a fast, fluid, character action brawler mixed with seamless bullet hell shooter segments. The flow between 2B's melee and the pod's range attacks is addictive. My only critique is that the side quests could occasionally feel a little repetitive, but they always added fascinating lore. I personally remember the emotional gut punch of the second and third playthroughs. Nier Automata is perfect because it delivers a profound, stylish, philosophical sci-fi epic wrapped around an incredibly tight and inventive action RPG system. 4. Days Gone Remastered. Rounding out this initial block, let's talk about a game that earns its perfect 10 out of 10 score through systemic tension and raw performance, Days Gone Remastered. This is the definitive way to play one of the best open-world survival games. The core experience is the freaker horde mechanic. The sight of hundreds of enemies moving as one is an unforgettable, high-stakes threat. The gameplay loop is driven by bike management and resource scarcity, forcing constant, tense survival. The remastered version on the PS5 is crucial. The 60 FPS performance makes the bike traversal and chaotic combat feel incredibly smooth and responsive. My initial critique of the original game was Deacon St. John's constant early game monologues, which felt a little forced, but the intense gameplay quickly makes you forget that. I vividly remember spending hours setting up traps to take down my first massive horde. Days Gone Remastered is perfect because it delivers a massive, beautiful, high-performance survival sandbox with a unique, terrifying systemic threat. Five, Clair Obscur, Expedition 33. Alright, let's talk about a game that earns a perfect score for its bold artistic ambition and mechanical freshness. Clair Obscur, Expedition 33. This title is a unique JRPG that hooks you with its impossible premise. The core value is the high-stakes narrative urgency. The world is ending because a monstrous entity resets the age of humanity every 33 years. You are the final hope, and that emotional weight and race against time are brilliantly conveyed. Mechanically, I love the blend of turn-based combat with active input. You have to use rhythmic button presses and precise timing to boost damage or land a crucial block, making the traditional combat feel incredibly engaging and skill-based. My one critique is that the sheer stress of the premise might be too much for players just looking to relax. I personally was captivated by the unique French-inspired art style and the emotional commitment of the characters. Clair Obscur is perfect because it delivers a visually stunning, narratively sophisticated, and mechanically innovative RPG. Six, Far Cry 4. Next up, we dive into the mountains for a game that gets a perfect 10 out of 10 for chaotic sandbox systems and its incredible setting, Far Cry 4. This sequel mastered the formula and delivered one of the best antagonists in gaming history. The core experience is the verticality of Kyrad. Using the grapple hook and gyrocopter makes exploring the huge mountainous map fluid and exciting. The emergent chaos, riding an elephant through a massive enemy outpost, is priceless. The villain Pagan Min is the ultimate hook. Troy Baker's performance is charismatic and terrifying, carrying the main storyline. My biggest complaint? The forced kidnapping sequences that interrupt the open world flow. They honestly ruin the immersion a little bit. I vividly remember climbing the massive radio towers and jumping off with the wingsuit. Far Cry 4 is perfect because it's a phenomenally tuned open-world shooter that delivers high-octane action and pure, player-driven mayhem. Seven, The Last of Us Part 2. Now we talk about the game that is an essential, perfect 10 out of 10 for its uncompromising emotional depth and mechanical realism, The Last of Us Part 2. This title took massive risks, and it pays off with an unforgettable, draining experience. The core value is the brutal realism of the combat. The third-person action is perfected here. The new dodge mechanic and the incredibly detailed melee system make every encounter feel desperate, visceral, and high stakes. The game forces you to feel the weight of the violence. The narrative structure is its genius. It's a massive, mature story about the cycle of revenge, making you walk in the shoes of your enemy. While the narrative is intentionally draining and divisive, that commitment to its thesis is why it's perfect. I personally found the environmental detail in Seattle to be unparalleled, its peak graphical and technical fidelity. The Last of Us Part 2 is perfect because it sets the bar for mechanical realism, high-stakes storytelling, and profound character complexity. 8. God of War 2018. Rounding out this perfect block, we have a game that is an essential 10 out of 10 for its narrative reinvention and satisfying mechanical execution. God of War 2018. This soft reboot redefined Kratos and the action genre. The core experience is the tight, intimate third-person combat. The Leviathan axe is one of the most satisfying weapons in gaming. The feeling of throwing it and recalling it with the DualShock haptics is pure genius. That kinetic feedback is addictive. The storytelling is brilliant, focusing on the deep, complex relationship between Kratos and Atreus. The single-shot camera technique is a technical marvel that never breaks the immersion. My only critique? The enemy variety could feel a little thin at times, but the boss fights are magnificent. I vividly remember the first time I threw the axe and recalled it, hitting an enemy in the back. God of War is perfect because it delivers a masterclass in narrative maturity, satisfying combat design, and unwavering technical excellence.
Nine, Astro Bot. Alright, let's talk about the game that is the definitive technical showpiece and gets a perfect score for pure, unadulterated joy, Astro Bot. This title is essential for every PS5 owner. The core experience is the DualSense integration. The game uses the haptics and adaptive triggers to make you feel every surface Astro walks on: sand, glass, metal. It's pure, continuous tactile immersion. That physical connection to the game world is priceless. The gameplay loop is classic, creative platforming. The level design is packed with brilliant ideas and secrets that constantly reward curiosity. My only minor gripe is that you wish the game was longer, but honestly, its density and relentless charm make up for the runtime. I personally spent hours trying to find all the hidden PlayStation history references. Astro Bot is perfect because it delivers mechanical genius, technical brilliance, and unwavering emotional value.
Final Fantasy VII Remake. Next up, we have a game that is a flawless investment in narrative expansion and mechanical innovation, Final Fantasy VII Remake. This game took a classic and elevated it with stunning success. The core value is the action ATB hybrid combat system. It seamlessly blends fast-paced real-time action with tactical menu pausing, the tactical mode, forcing you to utilize spells and abilities strategically. It's arguably the best hybrid combat system ever made. The visual fidelity and character performances are top tier, making the familiar story of Midgar feel fresh, emotional, and massive in scale. My honest critique, the volume of filler quests in the middle sections of Midgar sometimes slowed the pace of the central narrative. I vividly remember the incredible boss fights. They are spectacles that demand mastery of every character's toolkit. FF7 Remake is perfect because it delivers a bold, gorgeous expansion of a beloved world with flawless, satisfying combat mechanics.
11. Red Dead Redemption 2. Now, we talk about the game that is an essential perfect 10 out of 10 for its unparalleled systemic realism and emotional depth. Red Dead Redemption 2. This is the ultimate open-world simulation that you simply live in. The core value is the dedication to immersion. The world of 1899 is massive, and every detail, from weapon degradation to camp management, pulls you deeper into Arthur Morgan's saga. That level of systemic commitment is why it's perfect. The narrative is the biggest hook. The story of the Vanderlyn gang is a profound, sprawling epic that provides massive emotional return. My one critique: the deliberately slow movement speed and restrictive controls in buildings can be frustrating, but that slowness is part of the realism. I personally consider the epilogue to be one of the best pieces of gaming content ever created. RDR2 is perfect because it's a generational masterpiece that delivers unmatched world building, high technical fidelity, and a truly unforgettable story. 12. Forza Horizon 5. Rounding out this perfect block, we have a game that earns a 10 out of 10 for sheer content density and mechanical excellence. Forza Horizon 5.
This open-world racer is an investment in endless, polished fun. The core experience is the flawless blend of arcade racing and open-world freedom. The world of Mexico is massive, gorgeous, and packed with biomes. The 60 FPS performance is essential for maintaining the high-speed thrill. The gameplay loop is pure addiction. You're constantly hunting barn finds, tackling expedition challenges, and customizing hundreds of cars. The Event Lab system provides infinite player-created content and longevity. My biggest issue? The online social hub can sometimes feel a little too busy and distracting, but that's minor compared to the quality of the racing. I personally spent hours just tuning my favorite muscle cars. Forza Horizon 5 is perfect because it delivers unmatched technical polish, immense content value, and the most joyful open-world driving experience available. 13. Dead Space Remake. Alright, let's talk about the game that is an essential, perfect 10 out of 10 investment in claustrophobic horror and mechanical brutality, Dead Space Remake. Motive Studio delivered a flawless modernization of a classic. The core value is the unmatched atmosphere and strategic dismemberment system. The 3D audio on the PS5 makes the USG Ishimura feel terrifyingly real, with every creak and distant necromorph whisper building intense dread. The combat forces you to think tactically. You don't shoot to kill, you shoot to dismember. The gameplay loop is perfectly tuned survival horror. You're always low on ammo, and the intensity director dynamically changes enemy placement to keep you on edge. My personal observation? Some people miss the jump scares, but I think the constant high tension is far scarier. I personally spent hours meticulously exploring every corridor. Dead Space Remake is perfect because it delivers a masterpiece in atmosphere, technical fidelity, and brutal strategic survival action. 14. Death Stranding 2 on the Beach. Next up, we have a game that is a flawless investment in artistic vision and unique systemic design. Death Stranding 2 on the Beach. Kojima Productions delivered a sequel that doubles down on technical ambition and complex player connection. The core value is the logistical simulation and visual spectacle. The game is about traversing a hostile world, but the addiction is planning your route, managing your cargo, and building infrastructure, like roads and ziplines, to help yourself and the community. The PS5's technical fidelity is key here. The graphics are cinematic, and the DualSense haptics make the weight of Sam's load feel real. My honest critique, which alienated some players, is that the deliberate slow pace of the initial walking simulation is a unique flavor that isn't for everyone. I personally was obsessed with building the perfect network of communal structures. Death Stranding 2 is perfect because it's a bold, unique piece of sci-fi storytelling that rewards patience, contribution, and mechanical mastery. 15. Black Myth: Wukong. Now, we talk about the game that earns a perfect 10 out of 10 for visual fidelity and kinetic martial arts combat. Black Myth: Wukong. This game is an investment in pure spectacle and skill. The core value is the stance-based combat system. You are immediately thrown into the role of the Destined One, mastering different staff stances and utilizing brilliant magical transformations. The action is fast, fluid, and incredibly satisfying, demanding precision and timing. The visual presentation is what hooks you. Built on Unreal Engine 5, the character models and the rich world inspired by Chinese mythology are absolutely stunning. My only complaint? The sheer difficulty of the boss encounters will be a huge barrier for casual players, but that challenge is the reward for Souls fans. I personally can't wait to master the parry windows and unleash those devastating staff combos. Wukong is perfect because it delivers a visually unparalleled, high-skill action RPG that truly captures the magic and mythology of its source material. 16.
Detroit Become Human. Rounding out this perfect block, we have a game that gets a 10/10 for unmatched narrative ambition and player agency, Detroit Become Human. This title is the definitive investment in choice-driven storytelling. The core value is the massive branching narrative system. You play as 3 different android protagonists, and every tiny dialogue choice or failed QTE genuinely changes the outcome of the story and the lives of the characters. That consequence system is unmatched. The technical fidelity and performance capture are exceptional, making the characters and the emotional stakes feel incredibly real. My honest critique? The quick-time events, or QTEs, while tense, can sometimes feel a little heavy-handed and interrupt the flow of the narrative. I personally loved going back and mapping out all the different character paths. Detroit is perfect because it delivers a profound, emotionally powerful, and technically brilliant interactive narrative that provides massive replay value.
17. Horizon Forbidden West. Alright, let's talk about the game that is an essential, perfect 10 out of 10 investment in visual fidelity and rewarding tactical combat. Horizon Forbidden West. This is a monumental technical masterpiece that deserves every praise. The core value here is the unmatched graphical density and scope. The world is massive, gorgeously rendered with different biomes, including incredible underwater exploration. The combat loop is the addiction. Fighting giant machines by using Aloy's focus scan and strategically stripping off armor components is deeply satisfying. The PS5's performance makes the fast-paced action feel perfect. My only honest critique is that the sheer volume of crafting requirements and systems can feel a little overwhelming when you're first diving in. I personally spent hours just exploring the ruins and finding new cauldrons to override new types of machines. Forbidden West is perfect because it delivers a massive, beautiful action RPG that rewards skill, intelligence, and environmental curiosity.
18. Ghost of Tsushima. Next up, we have a game that is a flawless 10 out of 10 investment in artistic vision and cinematic immersion, Ghost of Tsushima. Sucker Punch created an experience that makes you feel the weight and honor of the samurai ethos. The core value is the stance-based combat system. It's fast, fluid, and focused. Switching between the 4 stances to perfectly counter enemies is rhythmic and rewarding. The standoff mechanic is pure genius, providing an iconic high-stakes duel every time. The exploration loop is driven by the guiding wind, which directs you without a distracting HUD, pulling you deeper into the environment. My slight critique? The early game progression felt a little slow until you unlocked more of the ghost weapons and stances. I personally remember the stunning beauty of the island and the satisfaction of performing a perfect parry. Ghost of Tsushima is perfect because it delivers a masterpiece in aesthetic design and focused, high-quality melee action.
"19. Elden Ring. Now, we talk about the game that is an essential, perfect 10 out of 10 investment in unrivaled freedom and mechanical longevity, Elden Ring. This is From Software's ultimate achievement, blending seamless open-world exploration with brutal challenge. The core value is the sheer scope and build variety. The lands between are packed with secrets, and the game trusts you to find them. The progression loop of experimenting with hundreds of Ashes of War and spells is massive, giving the game infinite replayability. The combat system is difficult, but the reward for mastery is huge. My biggest critique is that the high difficulty and the reliance on cryptic environmental lore can be a tough barrier for players new to the Souls genre. I personally lost an entire year trying to beat every optional boss and find every hidden dungeon. Elden Ring is perfect because it delivers a generational masterpiece that rewards exploration, dedication, and deep mechanical experimentation.
20.
Uncharted 4: A Thief's End. And finally, we close out this ultimate list with the game that is an essential, perfect 10/10 investment in cinematic storytelling and polished action. Uncharted 4: A Thief's End. This is the definitive action-adventure experience. The core value is the unmatched cinematic spectacle. Naughty Dog crafted huge, explosive set pieces and a powerful, mature narrative about Nate, Elena, and Sam. The third-person shooting and platforming are incredibly smooth and refined. The character writing is its biggest strength, providing massive emotional weight to the adventure. My only critique, the extended stealth segments felt a little forced in the middle of a game that's defined by chaos and action. I personally remember the massive Madagascar Jeep chase as one of the best action sequences in gaming history. Uncharted 4 is perfect because it delivers a flawless blend of technical polish, emotional narrative, and high-stakes adventure. So there you have it, guys. 20 perfect 10 out of 10 games you can play right now. From the sheer scale of Elden Ring and Red Dead Redemption 2 to the stunning fidelity of Astro Bot and Ghost of Tsushima, these titles define gaming excellence. Which game on this list do you think is truly flawless? And what 10 out of 10 masterpiece did I rest? Let me know in the comments below.